What's up guys, MikeCoco back here bringing you guys a new game update video on Legion of Heroes, and Season 5 Rebirth has been introduced along with some heroes, so we're going to check that out really quick. Now, as always with pretty much all my Rebirth advice, only Rebirth if you have the resources to do so. So if you have those Book of Commands, the time to grind hard tower to get your main to 90, go ahead and Rebirth, because the extra stats are useful. But if you don't have the time or those resources, then just leave the main at S4 until you can gather those resources, because the main is still not spectacular. The damage is still subpar, but at least the skill is somewhat useful. Note that the skills haven't actually changed, it's just that their skills are actually quite unique. For example, without Amos, your only cleanser would basically be main staff and Tanui, the Season 5 hero, who cannot be legendary, so that's pretty bad. So I just want to see how much rank EXP we can get on the main using these Book of Commands. I believe you get these from story quests and Mother's Nurture boxes. So I'm just going to use one. I just want to see how much rank EXP you can get from the 40s and the 50s. And yes, I am using gun main. I temporarily switched to gun main for the next part of the video, which is the bringing back of Phase Rift, I guess you could say. So a level 50 Book of Command will provide 1k of rank EXP, but how much does a level 40? Oh, why is it in there? So a level 40 Book of Command provides 0 rank EXP. Okay, I suppose you need to probably level it to at least 50 for it to be of use. So yeah, you need 6-star for Rebirth as always, so you'll need approximately 32 Books of Command, and that's actually quite a bit. So again, I wouldn't recommend like trying to get your main to 6-star just to Rebirth, because I think it's much more useful if you use those resources on something else. Cough cough, legendary. So, well, I guess you can use the Book of Command on your main hero because they can't be used anywhere else, but don't use like your Book of Heroes or whatever just to get some rank XP. That's not worth it in my opinion. And so that aside, Phase Rift was brought back and it's changed. It's somewhat different. So the first thing that's changed is that it no longer uses your deploy, and unfortunately I already finished Phase Rift for today, but basically it's this typical rotation similar to Phase Rift before. Each day you clear the battle and you'll gain resources, a special type of resource that is used to rank up your equipment. So Catalyst is obviously used to get instant S to SS or A to S, but obviously it's more efficient if you go from S to SS. So that's the material you need for that. I believe so. Today is Friday, or when I'm recording it, it's Friday, and Friday's boss had an ability where it's just the boss itself on the first round, and you have to clear all of the dark minions, and they actually do hit quite a bit. And in this mode, you actually need a lot of Fury. Like if you don't run a Fury Thief at all, you will be starved of Fury, and unless you're really strong and can tank the hits, you will need that Fury to debuff and prevent your heroes from dying. So Fridays was actually really difficult without Fury Thief, so that's why I switched just from staff to gun just for Phase Rift. Thursday was just I believe the heroes or the enemy mobs just had a lot of HP, so if you just bring in your strongest heroes, that's just fine. They don't hit as hard as Fridays, but they still hit quite hard, so you should beware. I think like Anak, I have an Anak now who's EX 100, and she died in like 2-3 hits on Fridays to mobs, so that just tells you how much attack they have. I think my Anak has like 90k HP and 60k defense, so it's quite dangerous. I've actually been using Ritterin for a lot of these phase rifts to just boost up that defense, which I don't know if I've I haven't compared it without running Ritterin, but it seems to be working. I don't know. I have to try it with and without Ritterin. Wednesday is arguably the most difficult for me. It depends on how you've built your team, but I suppose that most people build their team around their damage dealers, which generally aren't magic based. And basically what happens on Wednesday is that all the mobs are immune to melee attacks. So if you're using, bow, cannon, sword, spear, axe, they're all gonna hit ones. So if you use any of those heroes, they're gonna hit ones. So you have to use magic based heroes like Jury, Dimitra, Morg, Asus, even Arena or like Sorceress main. Those all actually deal real damage. And the problem with this one is that you're even more starved with Fury because there's actually no Fury Thief that is magic based except for Claire. So you have to run Claire. Even if it's at rank 6, she will be tremendous use because she deals damage and she gains Fury. Because when you hit those ones, half the time you won't gain Fury and half the time you will gain Fury. So unlike Fridays where you still gain Fury from attacking the mobs even though you can't kill them, on Wednesday if you're attacking with those melee based or range based heroes, you're not getting any Fury at all, so you're pretty much done for Fury. So you need Claire. Otherwise I really don't see a way of clearing Wednesday. So you need Claire for sure. Arena is actually somewhat more useful than Jiri in my opinion because Arena's summon can act as a quote-unquote shield, and the summon also deals damage, which is magic based. So the summon actually hits the mobs and doesn't hit ones all the time, and it has the added effect of being able to chance a bewitch, which is useful to prevent the mobs from like insta killing your team. And I think those two are pretty much the heroes I would recommend for Wednesday's Phase Rift. It's actually really difficult. I couldn't do it on 5-star difficulty, which is probably something I should mention. Just like Phase Rift, there is now levels of difficulty from like 1-star to 5-star. 5-star obviously being the hardest. 4-star was significantly easier than 5-star in my opinion. So if you're struggling, just bump down a tier, give it a shot at least, or like 2 or 3 tries before bumping down that tier, because who knows, you might get lucky or survive a hit and clear it. And Monday, I don't know what's happening on Monday yet, but I suspect it's something like immune to magic-based heroes or something. I don't know. It was really I think the update was released on Tuesday, so just no idea what. Or actually, this is Tuesday. This is Wednesday. So yeah, it was released on Wednesday, so we have no idea what Tuesday's Phase Rift holds. So now the purpose for all of these stones is to use them and rank up your equipment at, guess who's back? Brock, the second most hated RNG character in the game, right after Rita. So Brock's back. He now uses a special looking type of Ori, which is like this. So basically what happens is at Brock you can rank up your legendary or mythic gear. So take for example Lasita, okay? So my Lasita has a mythic gun that is actually at rank, I think, 11. So the passive is at rank 11, I think. Yeah, so the passive of it is at rank 11, and you can see right now it's a 4-star mythic weapon, which is a rank 4 mythic. Now you actually have the opportunity to raise this and boost it to a rank 5 mythic gun. But you need those resources you gain from Phase Rift, and one of my guildmates checked and I think he said that you need like 400 of each resource before getting being able to rank it up. So 400 means like four weeks of Phase Rift, because you get 100 each time, or you get 100 for each clear you get on the highest level. So if you don't, then that's gonna be a problem. Now obviously it's gonna take a bit of time, because to get from rank 10 to rank 15 is not exactly as easy as you think. Now if my math is right, these events are independent of each other. So going from rank 11 to 12 is independent of 12 to 13. So if there's like a 50% chance for 10 to 11, another 50% chance from 11 to 12, then to get from 11 to 15 without any fails in between is like 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5, which is like ridiculously small. And even if my math is wrong, you can pretty much tell that it's very difficult to get from 10 to 15. To put it in perspective, I was at equipment or passive level 14 using Rune Essence. Okay, now I ran out of Rune Essence, so I tried going from 14 to 15. It failed, and it went down to 13. And then I tried 13 to 14, and it failed and went down to 12. And then 12 went down to 11, then went down to 10. And then went back down to 9. And I ended up spending, I think, 30 mil and like 30k rune stones, and I only got back to rank 11, or level 11 passive. So it just tells you how much RNG and how much like resources you need to dump into this one stupid gun to get it to rank 5. So at first I thought this feature was gonna be really good. You know, it's gonna help like the lower or the less geared people get up there. But this is just like another form of RNG. Rather than RNGing from like boxes and whatever, now you're RNGing on like the amount of fails you get at Rita, which is absolutely ridiculous. This feature is basically, in my opinion, just a way to get people to buy Rune Essence, because let's face it, you're not gonna get from 10 to 15 without at least spending a lot of resources. So like Rune Essence prevents failing, or it still allows fails, but it doesn't drop your inscription level. So obviously this is just all a ploy to get you to buy Rune Essence so you can get it to 15 and then rank it up. So this feature, thumbs down. Bad idea. It's just waste of time. Totally not worth it, I think, and it's almost impossible to gain. So yeah, the phase rift feature, not a great idea in my opinion. So next up we have the new heroes, Gabriel or Gabriel. I think it's Gabriel. It's not a girl. Is he or she a girl? I don't remember. It is a he, so it's Gabriel. Okay, so Gabriel, which looks very much like a girl, is a gun user, and he is basically Claire and Lacida combined together, plus a little bit of Allure. So he deals magic damage and more magic damage in a column, and inflicts cold damage each. So it's like a dot. So that's like basically Claire, and steal some fury from enemies, reduce fury consumption by 50%. So this is, right now, at this point, it's basically Balor plus Claire, because Claire has the first part of the skill is all Claire, and the second part of the skill is Balor's costume, which is the raising or reducing by 50%. Now this is only for himself. When we get his costume, which makes him look even more like a girl, I believe he gets attack up. So then you're combining Balor, Lacida, and Claire in one hero, and I'm not sure if the attack buff goes past 50, but even so, that's like a Claire on steroids, which is absolutely amazing, because then you have a 100 Fury Thief who deals more damage than Claire, and pretty much can go every single turn without losing Fury, because at 100 Fury, you're never going to lose Fury by using his skill. At 200 Fury, you might. Like, if you hit one target, you might lose Fury, but because his skill will pretty much be always on, he will always remain at 100 Fury, and you will never lose Fury. So this is like a permanent damage dealer, which is absolutely amazing. So yeah, you can definitely replace one of your Fury Thieves with Gabriel. And our next hero is Lucas in S7, which is actually not that great in my opinion, because his skill is just a damage to the enemies in a row, reduces defense, and creates a shield. So whatever damage he does, he takes 50% of that, converts into a shield, and he decreases defense. So this is a very weird hero, because he's kind of offensive based with the defense debuff, but he's very defensive based with the shield. And the reason why shield isn't the greatest idea is because shield prevents you from gaining fury. So that means you need to run a lot of Fury Thieves in order to well, take advantage of your entire team with Lucas on your like front line. So in this scenario, Lucas is pretty much only useful if you're having trouble surviving in pretty much every mode, because if you're strong enough or close to strong enough, you should be able to just at least tank a few hits before having your hero die. But what Lucas does is he prevents hits in general. So um, hopefully the shield will tank your hero. So in my opinion, I really see Lucas as a hero for those that are struggling to survive, or as a hero for those transition zones. For example, when people are transitioning from rank 6 heroes to legendary, there's that gap where you couldn't like um, beat all of the mobs in certain modes without a legendary, but you had to farm that mode to get a legendary. So it's like catch 22. You know, you had to get that, but to get that you need like to get A, you need B, but you don't have B, so you can get B from A. So this like endless cycle. This is where Lucas comes in because he allows you to tank, allows you to survive, get those heroes like living, and clear the ground. So that's where I see Lucas benefiting the most. Is during those transition zones for like gear changes, when we're going from like 110 gear or to 120 gear, stuff like that. So that's where I think Lucas will shine the most. But otherwise, I don't see him as a vital hero in any team as of now. If you can survive most of the modes in the game. And I believe that is pretty much it for this game update. I know that's like a lot to talk about, but that's basically it. You don't really need to care about this legendary or mythic ranking up unless you're like good, like good as in if like have money, get that rune essence with those hearts, or if you're a top player, you can splurge on resources, so it doesn't really matter. But otherwise, for like the most general people, I would just stay away from this because it's just like a waste of resources. You're better off spending it somewhere else. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Peace.